perspective on natural rivers and whether landowners can be trusted to keep them pristine. I have these stories and more in a few minutes. I'm Zachary Trost.
And I'm Fred Trost with a continuation of a question that I answered last week, where I said if a hunter isn't comfortable taking a particular deer, he shouldn't take it. Tonight, the discussion moves into the realm of waterfowl hunting, so stay tuned. It's October 16th, 2003, and we have news, information, and opinions about being a practical sportsman.
The new issue of the Michigan Outdoor News has a spectrum of stories. You won't find anything about J-Lo or Brittany, but let me get your attention with this revealing photo of Kim Heil-Smith of Devil's Track Lake, Minnesota. What she's revealing is her battle scars from an encounter with a black bear on September 17th. The bear had found its way into her garage and took exception to Kim's presence. The bear scratched and bit her on the head, shoulder, and thighs as they tangled in the entryway of her house. That's not what somebody expects after saying, "Hi honey, I'm home." The Michigan Outdoor News had reported previously that a 1-year-old male gray wolf was found dead in an east central Indiana soybean field in late June. The wolf had an ear tag that showed it had traveled more than 400 miles from its pack in central Wisconsin. Although wolves roamed throughout Indiana in colonial times, this was the first confirmed sighting of a wolf in Indiana since 1908. Could this be a sign that wolves, like coyotes, are moving south? Well, for a definitive answer, let's turn to wildlife biologist Adrian Whitehaven, who monitors wolves in Wisconsin. And he says, "I think it's going to be a remote possibility, but I wouldn't say it was absolutely impossible." So now you know the answer as to whether wolves are moving south. It's a definite maybe. Remember when alligators were so rare in the South? Well, that's turned around. 5 states, Louisiana, Texas, Florida, South Carolina, and most recently Georgia, all have alligator hunting seasons. Georgia's first ever alligator hunt this fall allowed 180 people, picked by a lottery, to kill these giant reptiles in 13 Georgia counties, where alligators have been crawling into carports and sliding into backyard swimming pools. The hunting is done at night under spotlights, where only the glow of their eyes above the waterline is seen. Hunters must snare the gators first, then pull them close to their boats to dispatch the thrashing and dangerous critters. Wild species can flip-flop from threatened to threatening in a relatively short amount of time. A tragedy in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. A Canadian truck driver, 44-year-old Albert Stoneman of Utterson, Ontario, was hauling a load of lumber on Highway 28 in Chippewa County when a deer that had been struck by a car was launched more than 7 feet in the air and broke through the windshield of Stoneman's truck. The impact broke the floor bolts of the driver's seat and knocked Stoneman into the sleeping quarters of his cab, killing him on the spot. It's a tragic reminder that deer on the highway are much more dangerous than you might think. Well, these stories can be found along with practical news and information for sportsmen in the Michigan Outdoor News, which is available on the newsstand or by subscription.
No, it's perfectly legal to shoot a duck on the water or in the air. In fact, there are a number of reasons why shooting a duck on the water is a better, more efficient method than wing shooting. Take deer hunting, for example. The deer hunting organizations say a deer should be standing rather than walking or running, which is one advantage of using bait. You can identify it as a legal deer. It's not moving, which gives you the best chance to make that one quick, clean, lethal, humane shot. And turkey hunting, same way. You're not supposed to shoot while the turkey is running or flying. You're supposed to call it in, make sure it has a beard, which makes it legal, wait until it sticks its neck out, usually when it gobbles, and make one clean headshot. Now, moving to duck hunting. It's also critical that you identify what kind of duck it is. There are all kinds of waterfowl rules and regulations on how many you can take of different species. Sometimes hens are restricted or off limits. A duck in the air is more difficult to identify and to hit, and if you don't hit it well, it can glide off into the weeds and die where you'll never find it. Now, when it's on the water though, you have a chance to identify the species, the gender, Its body is partly protected by the water and its head is sticking up where you'd like to hit it cleanly. It's exposed. It's the best, most efficient shot that you can make. Plus, the meat isn't all shot up and you can retrieve the bird easily. It's practical and perfectly legal. But some people say you're supposed to shoot birds in the air because it's more sporting. Hunting, to me, isn't using animals for target practice. Hunting is a food gathering activity. The animals don't die in sport. They die for real.
Oakland County buck, middle of October, Nick O'Shadless from Milford. Got this 7 o'clock in the evening. Of course, that in bow season, you know, before the time changes. You stay out there a little later. How old are you?
16.
Whoa, an after-school buck, huh?
Oh, yeah. I go out every day.
Right after school?
Yeah. Right behind my house.
So this is your 14th day hunting?
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. Have you seen this buck before behind your house?
Never. I was hoping to shoot a 3-point that I saw the day before. I was like, hey, if he comes in, I'm going to shoot him.
Oh, that is very cool. So you've been bow hunting for 4 years, or?
Yeah. Well, since I've been little, I've always shot my bow. I'm pretty much a bow man.
Yeah, they're working on changing that law anyway, so.
Good.
I mean, you know, that's the thing. Kids who hunt and learn to hunt and love to hunt and start shooting a bow,
Yeah.
I mean, you start when you're ready. So when did you start shooting a bow?
Oh, probably when I was like 5 or 6, maybe.
So what pound do you draw now?
70.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you practice a lot?
A little bit. Just when I need it.
Typical 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. You got a girlfriend?
No. This is my girlfriend right here.
Well, I don't know if I can say much about your taste in women, but Nick O'Shadless from Milford. Good story. Jeffrey Savage from Saline got a king salmon Manistee River. 32 pounds, 5 ounces, and got this in October, first weekend, 11 p.m.
Yes, sir. They hit heavy on the purple flies at night while we're wading in the river.
And who's the guy with the purple fly in his pocket?
That would be my tie flyer.
Your fly tire.
Yeah, fly tire.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Tie Flyer. Let's see the tie that you flied. Oh, it's stuck.
Well, Fred, this is a replica of the fish, or the fly that,
Here's one of these Johnny Carson moments, you know, where
you betcha.
on the highlights, that just, yeah.
I thought that I'd give that to you. That is a replica of the fly that caught the biggest salmon in the state this last year.
And that's it?
That
I mean,
is-
that's great, but I thought you had more to say. And you tied it yourself.
Oh, yes. I tie all the flies every year for us both. We've been doing this for about 10 years now. Every October in Tippy Dam.
I'll be darned. And the purple is the color?
I'm not going to say purple's the color, but I'm going to say that fly there has caught a lot of good fish.
And your name?
My name is Doug.
Doug.
Doug from Westland.
Very good, your tie flyer. That is pretty neat. Well, I had Jeff Savage come up on the stage here to show us big salmon, and all I got was this little tied fly. But that's great, because I
That
can catch a
works.
good one.
Oh, yeah. You're going to catch them if you use that fly.
You see, that's how this microphone works. It gets people to talk. You just go,
Sir.
see? That works great. Well, guys, Doug from Westland and Jeff Savage from Saline, congratulations. That's great. Got my own. Thank you.
The featured county for this week's Fish and Game Hall of Fame is another one named by Henry Schoolcraft, who combined a couple of Indian words to describe what he saw in this area in the mid-1800s. He took the word Ossen, which means stones or pebbles, and combined it with Muscoda, which means prairie. Ossen Muscoda became Oscoda, to describe what Henry Schoolcraft saw as a prairie of pebbles or pebbly prairie. Oscoda County is located in the central, northeastern section of Michigan's Lower Peninsula. Relatively few people live in Oscoda County because it's mainly undisturbed wilderness. Half of the county is in the Huron National Forest, and an additional quarter of the land is the Oscoda State Forest. Even today, this sparsely populated county has no officially organized incorporated city or village. The Osable River runs through Oscoda County and forms a scenic pond behind the dam in Mile, which is the county seat. Oscoda County is also the heart of Kirtland's warbler country, one of the world's rarest birds. Weighing roughly a half ounce each, the total worldwide population, which is mainly in Michigan, weighs a total of about 40 pounds. Also called the jack pine warbler, these birds are known as the birds of fire, which make their summer home in this one part of Michigan where the low, jack pine scrub brush is frequently burned by lightning, which regenerates into secure nesting sites close to the ground, which Kirtland warblers prefer. With all this public land, Oscoda County has many two-tracks, ATV and hiking trails which are used by snowmobilers and off-roaders. Hunters and fishermen also enjoy the woods and waters of Oscoda County, and they contribute their share of entries to our Fish and Game Hall of Fame. We're drawing for our next county for the Fish and Game Hall of Fame, which will be featuring Branch County.
Okay, so there's the hide. Doesn't look like much hanging there.
This is the inside. It's nice and clean. It's about to get stuck on here.
Oh, that's what you use those little stickers for.
Yeah, they're called awls. I just put them on there to hold the skin in place till I can put it where I want it. Makes for a nice clean job. This is a little unusual mount. It's what they call a wall pedestal. It's a little more work. It gives a full 90-degree turn with coming straight into the room, which is kind of nice. You can see there's one hanging there.
Well, I must say, it looks awful from here.
Well, from here it does.
There we go.
It's got a ways to go to get all his detail work done, but it's started, so
How much more time do you have in it from here?
I'll have probably 3 or 4 hours before I can finish it today, and then it'll take a week for it to dry, and then
Tim Hayes will not be at the museum this Saturday watching his customers' mounts dry. He'll be bow hunting for deer, hopefully just like you. Yeah, we have a little section of the museum here where have old bows and arrows that people have brought in, a variety of them. One thing that's kind of interesting are these two arrows. I believe they were both made by Norm Blaker, I think. I have to check our records, but they're chipped flint, of course, for the arrowheads, and Norm has used these to take deer. Now, he's used the longer ones like this one, and this is used for a long bow. You know, so you draw it all the way back, and that's why it's so long. This one is not a kid's arrow. It wasn't a toy Indian arrow at all. It's one that the Indians used, as Norm explained to me, as they were on horseback and they were riding with their Indian ponies and they'd come up on a buffalo. They couldn't use a long bow on a buffalo because the limbs, as they tip it down, would hit their pony. So they used small bows like this one. Now this one is a kid's bow, but they used a small bow like this, and they would ride up on the pony next to the buffalo and just pull it back just a little ways like that and let it fly. And they were very powerful, small, short bows. But that's a story on that. Not a kid's arrow at all. That's one to use on an Indian pony for buffalo. This weekend, take a kid for an outing and enjoy the outdoors. It's a great place to be. See you next week.